Great. Thank you again. I appreciate the work that you put into this, the information that you produced. I think it's very clear and it's very direct. And I appreciate your willingness to keep your doors open and your phone lines clear so you could get those that be able to communicate to EDD and other departments that you work with, because I think it's vital for them to have that immediate feedback and the continual contact, because obviously the reports that you produce, a lot of the state legislators use this information to either direct legislation or when during the budget process begin to help support certain programs and certain efforts. But that interaction, that back and forth, that communication that allows the department to improve and allows your hard work to be implemented, I think helps us all out to make sure that we're all on the same page to improve the good quality of work that we need to do for our constituents in this great state. So thank you again, Ms. Howell, for being here. Mark, I thank you all for being here. And now make sure we bring up the next panel and hopefully we're able to address some of the concerns and some of the things that we've been working on. Thank you again.
Thank you, Senator.
Now I think for our next panel, which will be talking to us about the future of the unemployment insurance program, including the unemployment insurance program challenges, future initiatives, technology update, and response to the department evaluations. We're going to bring forward Sabrina Reed, Deputy Director of the Unemployment Insurance, Cheryl Mello, Division Chief, Information Technology, and Steve Peary, Project Manager of Information Technology. Thank you all for being here. And Sabrina, I guess you could go first.
Thank you, Chairman Mendoza. We have some handouts that we're passing out for you that will serve as a reference for our comments. Again, my name is Sabrina Reed, and I am the Deputy Director of the Unemployment Insurance Branch for EDD. And with me today are two of our information technology executives. Steve Pierre, to my right, is the project director of our upcoming UI Online project. And to my left is Cheryl Mello, who is the chief of our product development division. We're pleased to be here today to provide you an update on the UI program, including past and present workload, the challenges that we've had and what we've done to address those challenges, and also what we're doing to increase customer access to UI services. In addition, I will also provide a status update on the implementation of the state auditor recommendations from the last two audits. So I have plenty of material to cover, so at any time if you have questions or you feel that we've adequately covered it and want me to move on, just say the word.
Great, thank you so much, appreciate that.
As Director Henning reported, while California's economy has shown steady improvement over the past year and UI workload is decreasing, we continue to process a record level workload that is significantly higher than pre-recessionary years. Last year, in 2014, we filed 3.5 million initial claims. We processed 24.4 million weeks of certifications and paid $6.3 billion in UI benefits. In comparison, in 2007, which was a pre-recessionary year, we filed 2.5 million claims and paid approximately $5.1 billion in benefits. The 2014 workload levels exceeded 2007 by 40% for claims filed and 24% for benefits paid. It's no surprise that California has the largest UI program in the nation, but to put that in context, since 2008, we have consistently processed more in benefit claims and paid out more in benefit dollars than the next three largest states combined. That's Texas, New York, and Florida. Our 2014 workload represented approximately 18% of the national total. In addition, we paid out approximately $104 billion, that's with a B, in UI benefits from 2007 to 2014. In 2010, we processed a record total of almost $23 billion in UI benefits in just 1 year. As you can imagine, California's unemployment insurance program is not only crucial to our state's unemployed workers and their families, but it is vital to sustaining California's economy. I'd like to briefly talk about the funding challenges. As you know, California's UI program is consistently underfunded at the federal level, which has historically contributed to EDD's inability to meet federal performance measures and provide timely services to our California's unemployed workers. The continuous administrative underfunding, coupled with inadequate staffing levels and a persistently high unemployment rate, has made it nearly impossible to keep up with unprecedented demand for the last several years. What was most notable were that claimants weren't able to access services, particularly through the phone. As you may recall, we experienced a significant backlog when we launched our new UI payment system in September of 2013. This, coupled with inadequate federal funding issues, resulted in unacceptable service levels and an unprecedented amount of unanswered phone calls. This led Secretary Lanier from our Labor and Workforce Development Agency to issue a directive on February 7, 2014, instructing EDD to take immediate action to improve California's UI services. This directive was instrumental in the administration proposing and the legislature approving an additional $67.6 million. 46.6 of that was general fund, and 21 million was from our federal unemployment insurance fund. This appropriation allowed us to hire additional staff to process the persistently high workload levels. I just want to say we are truly grateful for your support and that of the administration, because without you, I wouldn't be here today to tell this great story I'm about to tell you. The spending authority authorized the hiring of 485 additional staff and allowed us to retain our 250 permanent intermittent staff through the end of this fiscal year. So the first wave of hires occurred in March and April of 2014, and the majority of staff completed claim filing by the end of November 2014, just a few months ago. Training typically takes 6 to 12 months for our staff to become proficient, depending on the job. For claim filing, it's approximately 6 to 9 months, and for our eligibility determination interviews, it's 9 to 12 months to become proficient in determination. Our staff are in the UI world are more like paralegals. It's very intensive training and on-the-job training, so it takes a lot of time to get them proficient. When requesting the additional state funding, we committed to the legislature to meet 4 service goals. They were to answer at least 50,000 calls or more per week, to process 100% of our initial claims within 3 days of receipt, to process 100% of our online inquiries within 5 days of receipt, and then to schedule timely at least 95% of our eligibility determination interviews timely. The additional staff hired, coupled with the use of overtime, had immediate impact on the EDD service levels and in meeting or making progress towards those 4 goals. Now, overtime was a crucial component because we had to direct a lot of journey-level staff off production to be able to train and mentor the newly hired staff. In your packet of handouts is a chart displaying the progress made toward each of those goals. On the second page there, I'm just going to highlight, third page, I'm going to highlight some of those 4 goals on the 4 performance charts. First of all, for calls answered, overall, the EDD met or exceeded the targeted goal for 10 individual weeks from March 14, 2014 through February 14, 2015. Now, during that time, the number of times the caller had to dial or access the call center decreased to an average of 5 attempts. That's a sizable decrease from January of the previous year, when callers often took 31 times to reach an agent. Now, I want to clarify, this doesn't mean that everybody has to call 5 times today to get to us, but that was an average over as we were declining, improving our service levels. During this last month, the EDD staff answered an average of 53,775 calls per week, exceeding our 50,000 goal. For initial claims, beginning in 2014, we met the goal of processing 100% of initial claims within 3 days. This is compared to a year ago when only 22% of our claims were answered or were processed timely. In October of 2014, you'll notice we experienced a slight decline in service level. This was due to the redirection of 90 journey level claim filing staff who we trained in our determinations training. The additional capacity that we received from our newly hired trainees, they were released in January of this year, just a couple months ago, has resulted in us meeting this goal during the entire month of February, and that trend is expected to continue. As far as our online inquiries, this is the Ask EDD. Beginning in April, the EDD was close to meeting the goals to process 100% of online inquiries within 5 days. You'll notice the goal slipped slightly in November and then again in January. This was due to state holidays and January being our peak workload. Again, the additional capacity gained from the new claim filing trainees that were released in January of this year has resulted in consistently meeting this goal during the entire month of February. And in comparison, if you compare that to last quarter of 2013, it took 2 to 3 weeks just to answer some of our higher priority EdComs, and some of the lower priorities took longer than that. And then lastly, our eligibility determinations. Overall timeliness of scheduling eligibility determination interviews has improved since March 2014, again, primarily to the use of overtime. And that is because prior to receiving the funds, we had not hired staff in over 4 years. So we had a very limited number of staff that were trained doing eligibility determinations. So the 90 journey level claim filers that we took out to train had an impact on that. We did receive 90% or higher for 18 individual weeks from March 2014 through the end of February. Again, it's a substantial increase from the year prior when only 13% of our determination appointments were scheduled timely. And I am thrilled to report that as of last week, we have met and exceeded our goal of timely determinations. We had 97% processed timely. I can't remember when that last occurred. We expect the capacity gain from the cross-trained staff will be sufficient to continue this trend to do 95% or greater. As you can see, this is a significant turnaround in service levels from last year. And again, this couldn't have happened without your support and enabling us to hire the additional staff and getting them fully trained so that we can sustain these service levels. So how did we get here? Well, in addition to hiring and training, we have taken numerous actions over this past year which have done had dramatic improvements to UI services and performance levels, and I'd like to highlight just 5. The first one is piloting our self-service assistance program. And Chairman Mendoza, I understand that you helped co-author Assembly Bill 857 to provide UI assistance to our one-stops. Well, you'll be happy to hear that as of last month, we began piloting self-service assistance in our one-stops. We call them America's Job Centers of California, or AJCCs for short. And the purpose of the pilot is to help maximize self-service options for customers needing UI assistance that come into the local AJCCs. In each pilot office, we have a UI representative that works in the lobby right alongside a workforce services representative to provide assistance to customers in many of the self-service options. They range from filing a claim online using our e-apply for UI application, accessing claim information over our interactive voice response system, accurately completing continued claim forms, and certifying for benefits on both our WebCert and TeleCert. We also provide instructional materials for our claimants to help them properly fill out a continued claim form online. And this pilot is planned to be implemented statewide when UI launches at the end of next month. The second item is our business process innovation efforts. As part of our continuing effort to identify and implement process improvements, the UI branch established a business process innovation team. This project team consists of EDD staff and a third-party consultant. This was possible through a 1-year grant awarded by the Department of Labor. Our BPI team took a modern approach to analyzing and implementing business process solutions, working in what we call sprints. So each 30-day, they come up with new recommendations, and that helped accelerate the delivery of actual changes to better serve our customers. The process improvement solutions have focused primarily on policy, procedure, and operational practices designed to improve first payment promptness and determination timeliness. And to date, the team has done a complete review of both the initial claim filing and determination processes to identify bottlenecks in the processes that can cause delay in getting timely payment to our claimants. Recent deployments include solutions to improve customer service and communication, as well as improve workload quality. We've done additional training, and curriculum has also been designed to provide current information on processes and procedure changes. This keeps staff apprised of relevant policies, as well as avoiding errors and mistakes when completing their work. Thirdly is our improved call center services. In November 2013, the EDD began a review of its call center practices and conducted a nationwide survey from UI state directors. And the result of the survey led to really the implementation of 3 new technologies. The first one was a virtual hold. On September 30th of last year, we implemented phase 1 of the virtual hold project. Virtual hold essentially provides claimants the convenience of requesting a callback when they're in queue for 5 minutes or longer. Phase 1 offers the option to essentially save their place in queue, then to be called back when it's their turn. From the week ending January 3rd, 2015 through the end of February 28th, approximately 40% of people that were offered a callback to maintain their place in queue utilized that service. What we found anecdotally from some customers was that, they had 3 minutes to wait or 4 minutes to wait. They decided, I'll just wait. But so we're pretty happy with the 40% return rate and expect that to continue, especially if call wait times increase. The second phase is our scheduled callback. That will provide callers the opportunity to make an appointment to speak with an agent at a later time. That feature will be implemented at the end of April next month and is designed to accept callbacks in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Cantonese, and Mandarin. The last service is our outbound notification, and that is one I am very excited about. You may be familiar with this, as a lot of medical providers use this feature to remind you of upcoming medical appointments. Outbound notification is tentatively planned for implementation later this spring and will provide UI customers with a reminder call of a scheduled eligibility determination interview, or to notice them that an appointment has been canceled. This feature should significantly decrease the number of missed eligibility appointments. As the auditor mentioned, part of the issue in contacting customers is when we schedule them for an appointment, they're not there. During some of our data collection, we found that almost 60% of dead appointments go unanswered. And so this should really help us to significantly improve the response times on that. And fourth area I want to talk about is policy changes. We've had a multiple number of policy changes regarding the determination processes that have been put in place in order to help us reduce delays in UI payments by essentially eliminating unnecessary determination appointments. Beginning in November 2013, we eliminated eligibility determination interviews for claimants returning continued claim forms late. Essentially, they had 14 days to return it, and previously, if we received those certification forms after 14 days, they were automatically scheduled for a determination interview. We have extended that time to 21 days, so now those certifications continue to get processed and they're no longer needed for an interview. In December 2013, we eliminated eligibility determination interviews for claimants attending school or training, as long as they certify that they're able and available for work. Now, historically, school attendance was an issue that caused us to schedule someone for an interview because it meant they were not able and available. But as you know, in today's world, many people take online courses or take school after work. So we've eliminated that requirement. As long as they can certify that they are able and available, we just process their claim without an eligibility interview. This policy change has significantly reduced unnecessary determination appointments, and allows for more timely adjudication of determinations. And was also mentioned the California training benefits, that we have now processed those requests within 2 days of receipt. Again, by eliminating the whole eligibility determination interview, we have changed our process so we no longer have to stop and request that. We just process their payments. So that has significantly improved. Those two policy changes alone have contributed to a 21% reduction in the number of determination appointments each year. And that is huge, and it allows us to adjudicate other cases more timely. We have one more policy change that we just implemented last month, and that is to help it's for potential eligibility issues involving pension payments that claimants report. So previously, whenever claimants reported that they had a pension, they were automatically scheduled for a telephone eligibility interview to determine whether or not those payments were deductible from the claimant's weekly benefit amount. The new procedure allows UI staff to ask additional questions up front, therefore eliminating an unnecessary determination. So we expect our number of appointments to go down as a result of that. And lastly, we've also improved communication with our claimants. In January, of last year, we replaced our 41-page handbook that we used to send to claimants, and I'm not sure it was the best reader, but we replaced that with a more user-friendly guide. It's a step-by-step guide on what you need to know about UI benefits. We also developed a companion piece that mirrors the questions on the continued claim form that lets the customers know a yes answer means this, a no answer means that, and so forth. These are the same tools that we put in the America's Job Centers of California, and they're designed to help customers get the information they need to properly complete a claim form. And as Auditor Howe mentioned, we are also going to be revising this form to show how to accurately report work and wages, particularly if your work week differs from the statutory unemployment week that you're required to report. So that we should see some significant improvement there as well. Secondly, in April of last year, we added 2 new web pages to our EDD website. The first page was understanding the questions on the continued claim form, and we included examples of properly completed questions to help claimants fill out their forms accurately. And the second page was understanding messages displayed on duplicate claim form. Often if claimants make an error on their continued claim form, the system automatically generates a second form for them to fill out, and the messages are, because of our system limitations, the messages are pretty short. And so this web page further expands on that for our claimants, and we refer them to the web page so that they can see what the issue was and help them avoid mistakes in the future. In March of last year, we also implemented Google Translate, and that was added to our public website in order to provide user-friendly and easy accessible UI information to our diverse population. This free translation tool allows claimants to select one of 80 different available languages for website translation. Now, I want to clarify that Google Translate is only used for our basic web content. Any legal information on our forms or publications have been professionally translated. And to that end, as of today, 18 of our most commonly used UI forms and notices have been translated into 10 languages, and they're available on the EDD website. These forms and publications represent about 95% of all the documents that claimants use to file and certify for benefits. In addition to English and Spanish, the 10 languages include Armenian, Cantonese, Mandarin, Hmong, Korean, Laotian, Punjabi, Russian, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. So we're pretty excited about this, and this should be a huge improvement for our customers that were English, they're not proficient in English. In addition to the UI forms, our department has a massive project underway to update all of our EDD forms, as well as on our entire website into Spanish. English and Spanish make up about over 90% of our customer base, and the translation of our documents and website is really crucial to avoid claimants having to call us for clarification. Our goal is to have the website completely translated within 6 months. We're confident that we will have it done by the end of the year. And as far as the forms, we're doing that on a continual basis as resources allow. Now I'd like to take a brief moment to brief you on the status of our upcoming UI Online project. We believe that you're most interested in the benefits to our customers, so I'm going to spend some time talking about the services, and then I'm going to turn it over to Steve Pieri, and he will talk about the rollout of the project and how we're preparing for implementation. As you may recall, the EDD launched the first phase of the Continued Claims Redesign project on September 3rd, 2013, which was the internal release designed to modernize the payment processing of our UI continued claims. You may also recall that we initially experienced a number of unanticipated workload challenges with the implementation, including backlog continued claims due to a one-time data conversion. I'm happy to say that we've worked through those challenges. The system is stable and has ultimately improved how we process our claims. On average, we're processing 80% of our continued claims the very same day we receive them. Since its launch last year, we have processed nearly 22 million certifications and paid out more than $8.8 billion in benefits through the new system. The new payment system has positioned us to move to the next phase of CCR, of Continued Claims Redesign, which is to implement UI Online. That's the public-facing piece. UI Online is the part of the unemployment benefit system that will be rolled out at the end of next month, end of April. This new system will provide more self-service options to UI customers than our existing applications. The system will be available 24/7, and from the convenience of a computer, a tablet, or a smartphone, customers will be able to certify for continued claim benefits. They'll be able to reopen existing claims, update their contact information, view their payment history, reschedule their eligibility determination appointments, and much more without ever having to speak to a department representative. This is huge. The system will be collecting additional information from claimants about potential issues, which will improve determination quality and allow us to schedule eligibility determinations only when required. It's estimated at times that about 30% of our determination interviews are simply for clarification. So again, the system has built-in business rules to gain the most information from a claimant so that oftentimes we can process the payment without ever having to speak to a claimant. Most importantly, again, 24/7 without having to speak to a representative. And this really, this system will help position us for the future in the event of an economic downturn. When claimants find it difficult to reach us, they will be able to access all of their claim information online. Now I'm going to turn it over to Steve to address the implementation of UI Online.
Thank you, Sabrina. Good afternoon. So my name is Steve Pieri, and as project director, my job is to bring the UI modernization continued claims project home, and that is delivering the application to our claimants via the internet. And as Sabrina stated, they'll be able to access the application from their computer at home or from a mobile device, laptop, tablet, or a smartphone. What I'd like to do today is just to share a few measures that we are taking to ensure a successful implementation, and talk about testing, the phased rollout, and finally some support centers that we are implementing to help our claimants at implementation. To mitigate risks and help ensure a successful Release 3 launch of UI Online, we spent considerable resources ensuring the application and underlying infrastructure were properly tested. Our overall strategy and approach for testing the UI Online system was collaboratively designed by our vendor partners and EDD staff. This testing approach includes fully testing not only the application changes, but also the infrastructure that will support UI Online. This includes full system integration, security, and performance testing. We are now into our final user acceptance testing. In this testing cycle, our unemployment insurance branch users perform a final validation of all the system changes incorporated. We are almost complete with the second of 4 weeks of execution in the UAT, and I'm happy to say that thus far we have a 100% success rate on all our test scripts. Also, to help ensure a successful launch, we are planning for a phased rollout of the application to our claimants that will occur over a 10-week period. It should be noted that in the event of any issues with the implementation, this rollout is programmatically adjustable to allow us to throttle up or down the volume of invites sent out to our claimants. The rollout includes 2 distinct phases. Phase 1 covers the first 6 weeks, during which we will be sending our invites to up to 15,000 new claimants and 500 existing uniquely selected claimants each week. Phase 2 covers the following 4 weeks, during which we will be inviting 25% of all remaining and new claimants per week. Finally, to help ensure our claimants receive the proper help when first using the application, we are implementing a technical support center and a command center. The Technical Support Center will provide assistance to our English and Spanish-speaking UI claimants for UI online registration issues, password resets, and assist customers who have forgotten their username. The Technical Support Center staff will also provide information to customers for assistance to resolve any issues related to their internet browser, computer display settings, which may impact the user experience. We also are implementing a command center, and this will handle the intake of any non-technical issues, and we are designing this so that we can, as expeditiously as possible, route these issues to the appropriate party so that these issues can be resolved as rapidly as possible, so as to minimize any delay in payments to our claimants or for our claimants. That's all I have for today. I'll be happy to answer any questions regarding the project and turn it back over to Sabrina.